The principles of good teaching based on the educational philosophy of John Dewey. A. Teaching is good when it is based on the psychology of learning. This is based on the concept that the child is made the center of the educative process. The nature of the child and the nature of the learning process and the laws that govern its operation determine the type of teaching to be done by the teacher. Example: they must talk about what they are learning, write about it, relate it to past experiences, and apply it to their daily lives. B. Teaching is good when it is well planned such that the activities and experiences of the learner are continuously related and interrelated into larger, more meaningful, more inclusive relation patterns. Example: know what students need to know, what is essential, and what is nice but not necessary. Collect appropriate materials and curriculum. Do not introduce too much at once. Step by tiny step will maximize success. C. Teaching is good when the learner is made conscious of the goals or aims to be accomplished. This concept calls for proper motivation. Specific instructional activities should be directed toward providing learners with the necessary skills, knowledge, or experiences to meet the goals. If students feel they are part of a community of learners, they are more apt to be motivated to seek solutions to their problems and to succeed. D. Learning is good when it provides learning experiences or situations that will ensure understanding. A teacher should provide instructional materials for the students. This is the method by which the teacher implemented her teaching strategy in order for the students to understand it. Giving them a group activity, for example, will test their attention, stimulate their thinking, and facilitate understanding, all of which will help them learn more effectively. E. Teaching is good when there is provision to meet individual differences. This is based on the psychological principle that individuals differ from each other in their learning potential. To be effective, teaching must treat the learner as he is, but at the same time with reference to what he might become. Good teaching is about listening, questioning, being responsive, and remembering that each student and class is different. It's about eliciting responses and developing the oral communication skills of the quiet students. It's about pushing students to excel. At the same time, it's about being human, respecting others, and being professional at all times. F. Teaching is good when it utilizes the past experiences of the learner. This concept is based on the principle of apperception. This means that learning is easier when you start from what the pupils already know. In classes, students need frequent opportunities to perform and receive suggestions for improvement. At various points and at the end, students need changes to reflect on what they have learned, what they still need to know, and how to assess themselves. G. Teaching is good when the learner is stimulated to think and to reason. The best teaching method is that which liberates and encourages thinking. Effective teaching involves differentiation and integration or analysis and synthesis. Generalization of facts learned is important in teaching for transfer. Good teaching is also about bridging the gap between theory and practice. It's about learning the ivory tower and immersing oneself in the field, talking to, consulting with, and assisting practitioners and liaisoning with their communities. H. Teaching is good when it is governed by democratic principles. In democratic teaching, social relationship is placed on a plane of natural respect, cooperation, tolerance, and fair play. Teaching to be effective must be governed by love and understanding. In other words, the learners are free from emotional tension. Good teaching is about humor. It's about self-deprecating and not taking yourself too seriously. It's often about making innocuous jokes, mostly at your expense, so that the ice breaks and students learn in a more relaxed atmosphere where you, like them, are human with your own share of faults and shortcomings. I. Teaching is good when the method used is supplemented by another method and instructional devices. It is an accepted fact that good method is a synthesis of many methods. This is based on the principles that the best learning takes place when a greater number of senses are stimulated and utilized in the process. Example: gather materials, equipment, and supplies beforehand. Show enthusiasm and interest. Adjust the level of questions to student ability. J. Teaching is good when evaluation is made an integral part of the teaching process. Evaluation is part and parcel of learning. Evaluation measures the effectiveness of teaching and learning and completes the function which is essential in teaching. Teaching is meaningful only when the results of teaching are achieved. They measure achievement of learning goals, and they provide learners with benchmarks for monitoring their progress and adjusting their strategies. Key: teaching is good when drill or review is made an integral part of teaching and learning. The teacher must bear in mind that drill and review have different meanings and functions. The purpose of review is to bring out relationships of facts learned to give new view or new meaning. Examples: adequate practice is provided to ensure mastery. Guided practice is choosily monitored. It is practiced without penalty and receives no grades or marks. Mental practice is encouraged.